All right, welcome back. This is Guarantee Unique, and this is part two of the entire listen along series. Um, How to Be 3% Man by Coach Corey Wayne. I'm a 38-time listener of the book. This is my 38th read, so I'm just kind of going through with it live, sharing my personal anecdotes and experiences. And you're just coming along for the ride, and I can give any information I got from my time with the book and life. But also, it's just you can hear from the man himself, Coach Corey Wayne. So here we go. Tonight we're doing why you need to read this book more than once.
To read this book more than once. So I picked up my stack of books again, and I must have read through them 15 times. I found that I had missed a lot of information. Studies show that people only retain 7 to 10% of what they read after reading it. That is why I am going to recommend you read this book 10 to 15 times if you really want to understand this material and have the relationship of your dreams. Repetition is the mother of skill, and you must understand all aspects of pickup, dating, and relationships to be successful long term. Guys who read my book, website articles, newsletters, and videos, but who are still having problems, usually don't know the material in this book well enough. I started applying the material I learned in earnest. It took about a month and a half of playing it cool until she went out with me again. It took me a year and a half to master the tools and techniques and get her to fall in love with me. I had finally done it. I got the lady of my dreams. We dated for about 2 years, and I was part of her daughter's life for many years after we broke up. Her daughter is all grown up now, and I can't believe how this tiny little 5-year-old I carried in my arms is now an adult. Kids change your life, and she changed mine. After going through this whole process, I learned some valuable lessons about myself. My own insecurities and doubts about being enough of a man to attract the lady of my dreams had all been an illusion. What you fear, you attract, but what you look at disappears. I no longer feared beautiful women and was a completely centered and confident man. I notice as I walk around, whether in the mall or grocery store or wherever, I now get a lot of looks from women, whereas before, they never seemed to notice. It's all about carrying yourself with your chest out, your head back, and a feeling of being proud of yourself. Later in this book, I will go into extensive detail about body language that attracts women and how to emulate it, but using proper body language, facial expressions, and voice tone will make you appear to give off the same vibe and energy as the captain of the football team does. Google Corey Wayne, body language that attracts women. It's walking and acting exactly like a dominant alpha male walks. Everyone can feel when a dominant male or female walks into a room. It's like moss to a light bulb. Women have invisible radar that can feel a confident, centered man approaching. It's an amazing feeling to be able to walk up to any woman I want and strike up a conversation. It's been a long journey to get to this place. The next lady I met became my girlfriend for a year. With her, I had an amazing relationship from the start. Back in October 2004, I sat down and made my list of the ideal woman that I wanted to bring into my life. In December 2004, about 6 weeks later, I went to a week-long Tony Robbins event in Palm Springs, California called Date with Destiny. I remember walking in, and they had these little ping pong balls. You would write your name on it, and they assigned you a number. This was for various drawings that they would be holding during the duration of the event. When you went to put it into the tumbler, they told you, put a good intention behind it. The only prize they really wanted was to bring a new woman into my life, a soulmate. That was the intention that I put into my ball as I threw it into the tumbler. The next day was actually the first day of the event. I saw this girl walk in. She was stunning and tiny, about 5'2". She just sort of strode into the room and sat down in the front row. I was sitting directly behind her. At that point, I didn't get much of a glimpse of her face, but her body was perfect. Her pants were so tight that they looked to be painted on her, and she had the most perfect figure I had ever seen in my entire life. I later learned she was a former Miss Figure winner. At a Tony Robbins event, every 20 or 30 minutes or so, he has the participants stand up, stretch out, and get the blood flowing to keep the participants alert and awake to the information they are receiving. It was during a stretch break that she stood up and turned around, making eye contact with me. She had these big, beautiful brown eyes and long, straight blonde hair. To me, she was physically perfect. Everything that I had put on my list just 6 weeks before. I knew instantly that she was interested, and I was going to get to know her. Unfortunately, she left before the event was over the first night, so we didn't get a chance to meet. The event lasted 5 days, and there were only 1,500 people attending, so I knew we would meet again before the event was over. The next night, I was coming out of the dining room of a restaurant at the hotel, and there she was talking to her uncle, who was a friend of mine. At the time, I had no idea they were related. I went over and started talking to my friend, and noticed her looking at me the whole time. She was eagerly hoping we would talk. She wanted me, and it was written all over her face. I finally turned and asked her name, and then
I'll pause there for a second because I did want to address body language. As we go further into the book, like he talks in depth about like the body language you should exude, and just being confident, head held high, shoulders back. That stuff matters. He's got videos particularly on it too, like how you should sit, but it really does make a difference. I remember one time I was just like fresh out of a relationship, and I was at like a bar, and I was dressed decent. I was there to just like to go find my sister or something for something. And long story short, I just sat back, legs spread, like I kind of owned the bar, like I had a bravado about myself, like I'm just here, whatever. And the looks I was getting from chicks that were just like, who the fuck is this guy? Like not in a douchey way, but just like he's so confident. He's just so whatever. He's just a matter of fact about sitting there. And I saw the blatant eye contact, but I just ignored her because where I was at in life at that time, I didn't really want to entertain anybody. But it works, guys. It really does.
She asked mine. She also told me that she had noticed me sitting behind her the day before and described what I had been wearing. That, in and of itself, told me that she was very attracted to me. With her eye contact, her body language, her attention to me, and many other little signs, I knew without a doubt that she had that high level of attraction. I had come to a place in my life where I had been living these things for so long that my own personal radar was sharp. I
Mm-hmm.
also somehow knew she was single. This is a place you can get to if you follow this material. It's a place where you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to think about it anymore. It just becomes a part of who and what you are. You walk around with this total air of confidence, and women will notice. As David D'Angelo says, attraction is not a choice.
It's
He
not.
offers some good dating products I found out about after I had written the first edition of this book. His website is doubleyourdating.com. A woman knows in about 3
Now, specifically with David D'Angelo, he's actually the material I started with on this journey back in 2012. Because, like, if y'all that don't know my personal story, like, I got super dark and deep and, wanted to end it all because I got out of a 4 year relationship from a girl I was with in high school. And then we were in college. And then, I was super insecure, never worked on myself. All I knew was being with a girl. And I was still in that Disney fairy tale goo goo gaga mindset on things. And I was like, okay, well, let's see if anything I would have missed if I would have ended it. And I looked up how to be a man on YouTube, and the first thing that came up was David D'Angelo because he was popping at the time. That was like 2011. Coach Corey was just kind of starting out. I don't think he just started his channel, but I don't know if his book was even out or anything like that. So W dating, I kind of started with that, and then it was cool, but for me, it just came off a bit of inauthentic because there's good things that I got from it. Like he had this 77th laws of dating that I highly recommend you Google because it's somewhere online for free. Good stuff in there about just like building yourself up. Like one law he said was, I evolve consciously and constantly, always seeking the next level of paradigm. That's life, man. That's the same thing. What is it? Tony Robbins says, "Kanai, constant and never ending advancement" or something like that. And it's good information in there. But I started there. It just wasn't really for me. It didn't vibe with me because I had to put on like a show and fake who I was. And then like I went through every phase of the dating realm. Like I went from there to like the mystery method, was doing like magic tricks and shit. I went from there to like, even simple pickup, which was like a comedy channel where it was just random dudes going out and doing day game, just random pranks, try to talk to girls. And then from there I went to Sasha Day Game, who was like a guy who was just all about just pretty much just running up on a chick and being, flirty but direct, but like, just going, just chasing chicks down and just whatever you feel, just do it. And then from there, I went to direct game with this guy called Alan Roger Curry, rest in peace. He passed away, but his thing was about mode one, and mode one was basically about like basically being direct in a sexual way, but not like overtly like, hey girl, I want to fuck you and grab your titties. Like no, it's more like if you see the vibe and the energy's there, you lean into her left ear and you say deeply and romantically like, I'm not here to play games. I just want to fuck you. Like what's good? But like it leads up to that. Like it doesn't. It's not. You can't just start there. Like the girl has to give you the signals, and so there was good advice from that too. But it also didn't work for me. And then I went to everything. From there. I went to kind of the red pill stuff with Rollo Tomasi, Rational Male, eventually Alpha Male Strategies, who's kind of like Corey Wayne, but just a bit more direct and very red pill. He doesn't care about relationships at all. He just thinks women are advantageous takers. So that made me kind of jaded. They had the red pill rage, and then like the new age shit, like your fresh and fit, and stuff like that. So I did the whole gambit So I can speak from the standpoint of somebody who's seen every single type of the dating realm type stuff. Day game, night game, magic tricks, everything. Corey Wayne has always been my North Star. He's always been the thing that I've had in the background that I'd like. It'd be like my home base. I could venture off and go explore, but I always came back home. And I just suggest, like, obviously, if you're here, you're probably thinking Corey Wayne's your home base. It doesn't have to be. It was mine. It worked for me. Uh, but if you are going to advance in whatever thing, in regards to dating, at least stick to one guy. Venture off, but it will get confusing if you start dipping and dodging and tweaking shit and doing stuff from different people. It gets confusing, man. So just stick to one guy and go with that. Obviously, I'm biased to Corey Wayne, though. Just wanted to share that story about my past.
Seconds if you make the cut or not. You must be a 5 or better on a scale of 1 to 10 in order to have a chance with her. If you are a 4 or below in her eyes, you ain't got a chance. Move on. Since I coach men from all over the world for a living, most guys spend way too much time interacting with or being hung up on women who have little to no romantic attraction for them.
Yeah.
The average guy, since he does not know what he's doing and how attraction works, is literally talking women right out of sleeping with him.
Mm-hmm.
If you frequent bars and nightclubs, watch, observe, and listen. You will see a woman be excited to talk to a guy, but within a few minutes, she's trying to get away and he has no idea.
Yep.
You can verify everything I teach by watching men and women interact. It's fascinating to people watch. I looked right at her and asked her to dinner the next night with a specific time and place. She will tell you that my presence and confidence left her no choice but to accept. She said, I couldn't say no. She told me that no one had ever asked her out by being so direct and sure of himself. She also told me later that guys had been coming up to her all week with the, hey, would you like to get dinner or lunch and get to know each other type of line? But the way they went about it said immediately that they were weak and had no confidence. They weren't direct and they gave no specifics, leaving it wide open. I just said, let's go to dinner at this time, at this place, and she went along with it. Definite dates are the subtle difference that makes all the difference when it comes to setting dates women actually keep. We met the next night after the event was over and never did order dinner. We ended up having tea all night. We were talking so much, or I should say, she was talking so much, I let her do about 80% of the talking and I just kept asking her questions. That, by the way, is how to remain mysterious and cause a woman to be even more curious about you and romantically interested in you by the end of your date.
Yep.
I was totally fascinated by her. At about 3 o'clock in the morning,
Pause there. That is an absolute gem, gentlemen. If you take nothing else away from this material, shut the fuck up and let her talk. I hate to be this blunt, but what I've learned over my years of experience of doing the material is that it's gonna come off jaded. I'm telling you now. Women don't really give a fuck about you in regards to like getting to know you. They don't care. What they care about is that you want to get to know them. So just ask questions. 90-10. 90% her talking, 10% you talking. And if there's ever silence, let the shit linger, bro. Don't fill it in with the need to just talk and bloviate just because it's quiet now. Like, let her break the silence and just sit there and stare at her. Like, especially if she's hot, odds are she's never had to work. She's used to dudes like being nervous around her and all this flimflammery. Don't do it. Just be super chill. Always have the mindset when you go into the date of like, especially if she's hot, you almost want to put them on even less of a pedestal because they're used to it. So you want to go with the mentality of your looks mean nothing. Are you really a good fit for me? You almost want to find, and I'm not saying this to be mean, I'm saying this, you almost want to look for reasons to disqualify her. Like, why is she good enough for you? Does she really like you? Like, even if she doesn't ask questions, like, be aware if she does ask you questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, if she's like some high career woman, just veer the conversation completely away from her career. Like, okay, so like, what are your hobbies? Like, I get it, you're a lawyer, cool. Do you do anything for fun? You work all the time? Like, literally, I'm not saying minimize her to the point of making her feel like shit, but like, force her to think outside of the thing that makes her what everybody sees. Like, great, you're hot and thin and have a fat ass. Okay, so like, when was the last time you read a book? Like, what kind of books do you like to read? What's your hobbies? What do you like to do for fun? Like, what kind of movies are you into? Like, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying to be that mean or that blunt about it, but like, top three favorite movies. What's your favorite anime? Like, where'd you get your fashion sense from? What's your relationship like with your dad and your mom? Stuff like that.
when the cleaning crew started cleaning the carpet, we finally felt it was time to go. As we stood up to leave, I couldn't help myself. I reached across the table and started kissing her. Then I walked her back to her hotel down the street. The rest of the week, we were always with each other as though we had been together for years. Even others who saw us thought we had been together for years. It was so effortless. There was no holding back. We were holding hands and we were affectionate. I had no doubt of myself. I showed no fear, and I showed zero lack of confidence because of the little known secrets I had mastered.
Mm.
Because of the presence that I exuded, she hardly tested me at all. We spent months at a time together over the next year. We explored various places: Paris, London, Orlando, Miami, Colorado, sharing new discoveries around us and in each other. We had a lot of similar interests, and she was into personal growth and development. We communicated, which is a major point in relationships. Google Corey Wayne, how to communicate with women effectively. I always knew where she was at and how she felt toward me. I knew how to continually read her attraction level and how to see signs when I was becoming too complacent in the relationship.
Mm.
Eventually, we ended up going our separate ways. Neither of us was ready to make a commitment to marriage, and she went back to school in the UK. I couldn't go from seeing her for several months at a time to seeing her for 10 days every 3 months. I needed more than that. When we did end the relationship, it was hard. It was hardest because we both truly loved each other, and we still do. Our whole time together while dating was effortless. We never fought or argued. We were always affectionate, loving, kind, and focused on giving to one another. We never focused on what we were getting from each other or were jealous or needy. It was all about loving each other unconditionally and never being judgmental. Even when we decided to end our intimate relationship and see other people, we did it with love. If two people truly love each other and want to be happy with their choice to go their separate ways, I do not think it is the loving thing to do to cut one another off from all communication. I actually think that it makes it harder to heal. The hard part about a relationship ending is the finality of it all.
Yeah,
Going
that's
from being each
tough.
other's best friend and lover to no longer speaking is not being loving, in my opinion. It just
Mm.
seeks to hurt the other person. Many people feel that trying to hurt the other person will make them feel better.
Mm.
I think sharing your feelings with each other when a relationship ends is very helpful and important to the healing process. The purpose of an intimate relationship, in my opinion,
Just
is
to
to love
give.
each other, to help each other grow and become
Mhm.
more. You're there to
Mhm.
meet each other's needs. The whole purpose of a relationship is you
It's
go
to
there to
give.
give.
In order to
The only thing we
give.
lost when our relationship ended was a physical intimacy. Any relationship is about giving. It is not about what you get. We decided we wanted to give a little differently than we did before.
Mm.
By loving each other through the transition, there was no need to hurt or feel a loss. The things that make a relationship hurt when it ends is the loss of all contact with the person we love. We built on what we had created in our year together, and therefore there was nothing to lose. We
Mm.
still talk via email a few times a year, and she's now a chiropractor living in Finland. Once guys really understand women and are able to get into a relationship, they will eventually realize, like I did, that every relationship is an opportunity for growth. Just because you absolutely adore and treasure the person you're with, it doesn't mean that you will spend the rest of your life with that person or even marry them. I read once that only 3% or 3 out of 100 men understand women. In my experience, this is an accurate figure. If you want relationship heartaches to be over and to become one of the 3% men that understand women, then read and apply the principles that are here. Then go back and read them again to retain the knowledge. When you think you have it down pat, read it
Read them
again.
again.
These are principles that I have learned from numerous sources and applied in my own life.
I'm gonna pause there, fellas. He's not exaggerating with this 10 to 15 time shit. Like, you will not retain a lot of this information. I still make L's when I get out of practice because I got it now. I read this shit 38 times. Nigga, I still fuck up. Not like all the time blatantly. It's like little micro things because you just get so comfortable that you just kind of let shit slip. It is very common and easy to do with all the shit we're exposed to these days. Like the media material is still made to make you into a bitch. So if you don't constantly fill your brain with non-bitch like material, you will in fact still become a bitch. So 10 to 15 times minimum. This is a forever journey. You're never gonna stop it. You're always constant. Remember, kanai, constant and never ending improvement. So you may not have to read it 15 times a year, but you might read it 1 to 2 times a year for the rest of your life just to kind of keep your muscles refreshed. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, I'm living testament to that, fellas. The journey never stops. You're always going to be reading the book forever. Always.
I know they work, and in the following pages, you will find the truth to finally understanding women. I will not only give you simple how to examples, but I will explain why things are the way they are from an emotional, spiritual, physical, and mental point of view. The purpose of my life is to help others grow and become more. I don't want anyone to have to grow up in a loveless family like I did. It sucks. I did not enjoy my childhood very much. By understanding this, you can at least be in a relationship with someone that you absolutely love, treasure, and adore. I can teach you how to have a great relationship and keep the perfect girl attracted long term, but I can't make you stay in love with them. They can help you to understand the type of man that you are totally capable of becoming and even become that man. At the same time, you inspire and help her grow into everything she is capable of becoming as a woman. If the relationship reaches a point where it is no longer an opportunity for both people to continue growing together, then it's time to move on. When you meet someone whose soul isn't aligned with yours, send them love and move on. Dr. Wayne Dyer. I have done all the hard work and spent many years of heartache and heartbreak to learn and understand this knowledge. I've been successfully applying the best self-help principles over the past 2.5 decades. I teach what works, not theory.
Yep.
If you choose
Sure
to have
does.
faith and apply what you learn here, you will become attuned and will be able to read exactly what is going on with your lady emotionally at every moment and completely understand what she needs. It will put you in the driver's seat in your intimate relationships. Excellence is not a singular act, but a habit. You are what you do repeatedly. Aristotle. You will be able to help your friends and family overcome their relationship struggles as well. However, I have found that very few people actually are open to learning new relationship skills.
The ones that want to listen, right?
While you are learning this information and applying it, do not seek the advice of your friends unless you are 100% certain they understand women.
Yep.
It is very simple. Unless they have the kind of relationship you wish to create in your own life,
don't take their advice.
Ask them for advice.
Yep.
Enjoy the knowledge that appears in the following pages, and I want you to know I have immense love, respect, and care for you and your desire to have the relationship of your dreams. I was once searching like you are now. I wanted to find the answer. I found a lot of answers from a lot of different sources, and I put these down in these pages, the best of the information that I personally use. It is important for you to understand that you should not read this book and then go out and settle down with the first woman you meet. This book is about finding the type of woman you feel you deserve to be with. Those feelings may change and evolve over time as you change and evolve as a person. You may find the absolute perfect woman for you on day one, and then 6 months later realize that there are subtle differences you would make that would create an even better situation for you. It's about constantly refining your criteria, and in the meantime, having the experiences you need in order to learn so you can eventually focus 100% on the woman of your dreams. Google Corey Wayne, how to attract the perfect woman. You won't have to spend your time with her wondering if the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. You will have been on the other side and experienced it. I want you to have someone who knocks your socks off. Besides, that is your birthright as a child of the Creator. I will focus on giving you tools for lasting change so you can permanently undo your not so desirable habits and bring out the amazing man you are inside, the one that all women are just dying to meet. The great news is that you already have this natural talent and ability inside. If you will allow me to coach you how to be comfortable being yourself, then you can be a 3% man and you will own the heart of your lady for life.
All right, and that concludes it for tonight. That is why you need to read this book more than once. Tune in next time for part 3. Thanks for listening.